Sure, yes.
Thank you, Rep. Cafaro, and everybody up there for the overtime this session. I think you know what I mean. Rep. Cafaro mentioned soundbiting this process. I think we may be overlooking something. I just want to point it out. And this gentleman mentioned the Virginia Tech Massacre. All right, very shortly after Newtown, UVA law professor Richard Bonney came to Newtown and warned everyone. Now, I don't know if you guys know who this was. This is a distinguished member of the law community in Virginia who advised the state of Virginia's government after their tragedy like ours, okay? This guy came to Newtown and basically said, for brevity's sake, you guys aren't going to be able to rush this process. It may take you 2 years. And I kind of watched what's going on with all of you up there. And especially Rep. Cafaro was in the leadership position. It's a little scary, and I like to be polite, so you'll forgive me for putting you on the spot. Would you let me ask you a question?
Me?
All of you? All of you. There's a bill in the pipeline that's 59 pages long that has a lot of the whole proposals from both sides in it.
1076.
It's 1076.
Being heard Thursday.
It's being heard Thursday. Would I be allowed to ask how many of you have actually read through it? I'm making a point. I'm not criticizing. Please don't misunderstand me.
I haven't.
Who hasn't read it?
I haven't read it.
I've read most of it, and if your point is that it's very confusing and it seems contradictory within itself, I agree.
Friendly, not criticizing, okay? Thank you for pointing that out.
And just parts of it I have seen.
Do each and every one of
I've
you
read it about
know...
3 times.
Thank you. Do each and every one of you know that the way that's laid out, and maybe it'll pass, maybe it won't, I'm sure there's some compromise to be made, do each and every one of you know that the language in that bill will send a large number of your constituents to the pokey for at least a year on the books?
Absolutely.
Right.
I can't expound on it, please read it. Okay, so we got consensus on that. Hopefully it shakes out to some more reasonable items that actually become law after this process.
That bill, by the way, the genesis of that bill was from the conference, the Connecticut Conference of Municipalities, CCM. That's the CCM bill.
Which I'm very familiar with them, and I kind of want to stay on track. And
Doctor, did you ever?
no, wait, I had one more quick thing if I could. So you see the implications of rushing the process, and a lot of people have spoken that we don't have a formal report from Newtown as well. But personally, if you kind of back up from a broad picture, the magazine capacity thing is a little confusing to me, because somebody mentioned FBI stats. I think there's 14,300 and something murders, 86,000 rapes, 370,000 robberies from the 2011 stats. How many people in the room have daughters and granddaughters? We have to assume a large number. Now, it would be silly to suggest that, you know, your daughters and granddaughters all should carry guns. That's a personal prerogative. It's someone's right not to, just as much as it is someone's right to carry a gun or be armed in their own household in the way they choose. But I would humbly submit that let's take the women, for example, because of Joe Biden's kind of suggestion with a double-barrel shotgun, all right? Police respond to crime, and I have a couple of law enforcement officials in my family, and I appreciate the way they protect and serve, but are those policemen there when the bullet leaves the gun? Are they there when a woman is being... I'm sorry, I have a couple friends that have been raped. When every last natural right of a woman is violated in a rape, okay? The best intentioned police person is not there. And that's just the way it is, and that's something we have to face in our society. So, I get confused by the question how you would limit someone who chooses to defend themselves from the same crime that the police defend themselves from on the line of duty. It's very confusing to me how you could limit that based on a rush decision, based on fear, and I know we have politics to deal with, and we all appreciate your job in doing that, but it's just rushed. And lastly, and I'm done, this gentleman here has posted a couple of things to this exact point that Chris Murphy outlined after illustrating urban violence, and to quote Chris Murphy, You can't stop this with new laws. You just can't do it. So, yes, there are things to be done through enforcement and the Republicans' effort to repeal the early release program. We have a bunch of things that we can all look at, but look at them calmly, rationally, and back up and see if they're going to really be effective. And I hope everybody considers that, that's all.
Thank you.